Well, I think talking about, needing a pillow that's called husband maybe is a good segue into women and self-confidence and self-love, which is our topic for the night. Yeah, I think this was a topic that, has been coming up for us and we've been saying that we wanted to talk about. I think we're so conditioned, especially as women, our whole lives to kind of feel about ourselves the way we're told we're supposed to feel or that others expect us to feel. And, that growing up that way, why wouldn't it affect the way that you sort of present yourself to the world and the way that you walk into situations and carry yourself? I don't know,
Right.
thoughts on that?
Well, I feel strongly, and I think we mentioned this maybe in episode 1, that we all need to take a step back sometimes and be grateful for the opportunity that we've been given to be at this point in our lives. The reminder that, not that we all need a reminder because we all think of her all the time, but that we lost a very close friend, someone who would have very happily been doing this podcast with us and who would have added a lot of flavor and dimension. But Tammy didn't have the opportunity to live to where we are. So I think that there is an amount of privilege that we need to be aware of, that we get to complain about our aches and pains and skin issues and hair issues and gray hair and this and that. So that's my perspective, and I try to remind myself of that. But I also think that there's a whole lot of societal pressure when we're watching movies or TV shows or even commercials that are just hitting us all the time with this is what you should be doing to avoid the aging process. And I guess the question is why? I think we're 5 very generally upbeat middle-aged women, and we fall victim to it sometimes. We talk about the funny products that we're trying. But personally, I would love to be in a better place with things like graying hair and being more accepting of myself and giving myself a break. And, that's kind of where I want to learn from other people, maybe how to be better at that part of it.
I had an interesting conversation last week with a coworker who's similar in age, and we talked about the idea of becoming invisible once you hit a certain age. And I think especially with social media, I think we all have this understanding that like the things coming at us are sometimes being presented by like the 25-year-old, that they're like, oh, are you experiencing this? And I'm like, what do you know about it? Like, why are you talking to me? But that sometimes in our society, we don't value our elders like other cultures do, that we are now moving into that phase, especially in work. And I know we had talked about, going from the youngest to now being sort of the older ones at work, that sometimes your efforts are looked at as expected and therefore not worthy of praise, not worthy of recognition, and how being invisible is another, like, let's just tack that on to what's happening. So it was kind of an emotional conversation, and I was like, ooh, we're going to be talking about that on Monday. And I think just having conversations is what I have found to be the antidote to the feelings of, am I not doing this the right way? Am I aging not gracefully? It's coming here and chatting with you and then getting some of our listeners to share their thoughts that make me go, no, I'm not the only one doing that. And no, I'm not invisible. I have good things to offer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Colleen, I really liked what you said about finding gratitude for things. And I've seen something on social media where people will say, sometimes if you're feeling a certain way, sometimes it helps to like name what that feeling is out loud. Like, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling frustrated, just like, instead of wallowing in it, like say it out loud. And so like lately I've kind of been saying to myself, you need an attitude adjustment, kind of like bringing it to the forefront of my attention, reminding myself you're not being kind to yourself. And so many people have said, like, you should talk to yourself the way that you would talk to a friend. I am not good at doing that.
No.
And so
Yeah.
when you guys said that this was the topic for tonight and we wanted to like chat about it, I was like, oh man, like I don't know that I
Yeah.
have so much to add because I have so much work to do in this area. So would love to hear what people do.
You know, I was thinking a lot about this too this week because I was mentioning to my friends here off air that I was watching a TV show and there was a particular actress who I've followed for a very long time. She's a little older than we are. So I think I've probably been watching her my whole adult life in this or that. And she's in a new show that we just binge watched because it was awesome. And I love the fact that she has obviously just let herself age. And I say that, you know, I think so many times saying things like that almost comes across as a negative. But I want to start seeing that as a positive. You know, we have so many pressures to get this procedure done and that procedure done to stay looking young. It's like, well, why do I need to stay looking young? I'm not staying young. I'm getting older. And what's wrong with looking older as long as I'm confident, which, you know, I have some work to do on that, which I think everyone does. But honestly, I wish people could just keep it real a little bit. But
Yeah.
I mean, who's to
And it
say
is
it's right or wrong? Because if it makes them feel better, then there's no
Right.
judgment. Like that's on them. But it's just, I think we'd all be a little more comfortable if the world was a little more forgiving.
We're all thinking about ourselves. There's very few people thinking about us, right? Like, so like wear
That's
the
definitely
shirt,
true.
wear the bathing suit,
Mhm.
wear the whatever. So
It's a good
that
point.
we get in, and I love that you said like name it, give it a name.
Yes,
There's
that's
there's a lot of people that will call it their gremlin. You know, my gremlin's coming at me again. Or like, if you had to put your inner thoughts on a loudspeaker, would you be proud? Like,
Yeah.
that's good too.